you hanging in there. We wrapped up our Wednesday practice, really competitive practice, high energy practice. Great job by the look teams, the scout team certainly brought a lot of juice and energy in a really competitive 2-minute drill. For you guys that I'm sure you guys want to know, guys that we expect back for this game. Obviously, we expect Popo to be back for this game. Still evaluating Cam McCormick and Hunter Campmoyer. Not available, Micah Pittman, Steve Stevens, Dawood Davis, Justin Flo, and questionable Spencer Webb and Patrick Herbert. So, as you know, we don't elaborate on injury report and health status, and we like to give that to you guys. I like to give it to you myself. That's our processes, that's our policies, and we'll learn and grow and make sure that you guys get that stuff directly from me as opposed to other sources on social media. With that being said, questions, please.
Cristobal, 247 Sports.
Having some more tight ends this week, how does that kind of help you guys? And I guess just how exciting is it to have Cam back? He's been out for a really long time.
Yeah, we're hoping we could get these guys there. You know, we're out there at practice today and certainly made some progress, but don't want to jump to a conclusion without it being firmly set. But it's great to have those bodies back out there, them as team leaders, as teammates, as human beings, members of this organization. It's great to see a couple guys back and out there running around, having a good time, executing some really good football. So really happy to see him.
Ryan Thorbird, register guard.
Mario, what kind of luxury is it to have a player like Travis Dye who, you know, comes off the bench and, you know, so to speak, pinch hits with a lot of home runs when he touches the ball?
Travis has been a great teammate. He's been a great player. We talk about his energy all the time. That's legit. I wish you could see him in practice, the way he brings all he has every single time and really energizes the group, the whole team, not only the offensive guys, but the defensive guys and special teams. So, and his competitive character really adds a lot to practice. So it's awesome. It's a blessing to have him here.
Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Devin and his performance against Washington State now with Pittman out again this week. What do you just see from him and his growth from when he showed up till, you know, through this season till now?
What we've seen the last 2 weeks from Devin is he's really practicing hard. He's handling every part of his process is a lot better, and he knows. You know, we have you know, we do things a certain way, and you know, we have really held him to a high standard. And I can honestly say these past 2 weeks, he's really attacked these processes and has had 2 great weeks of practice. And it showed up in last week's game in the way that he played and had 2 great practices today as well. So really proud of him and really looking forward to seeing him continue to grow, mature, and develop.
A.J. Jacobson, Rivals.
Coach, holding on to the ball and tackling were points of emphasis for this week. How do you feel about those 2 items heading into the game on Saturday?
They have to improve. As you know, those things are really they can destroy your game and destroy your season if you don't fix it. So has it been a point of emphasis? Absolutely. Does it have to show up? Undoubtedly it has to show up in every rep in practice, in our mentality as we approach the game, and certainly on game day. Our players understand how important that is. We have been hammering that. We have been driving that home, and we expect to get better results.
James Crapia, the Oregonian.
Mario, I wanted to confirm your understanding of what the status of this weekend's game is. I mean, the fan base is asking for a game time for a game they can't even attend, and ESPN is punting to the Pac-12. Chip has joked that it's like getting a cable appointment, be free from noon to 7:30. Are you confident this game is going to be played this weekend?
This game will be played this weekend, as far as I'm informed. Haven't had any glitches, just waiting for a game time.
Kevin Wade, 247 Sports.
With the game time being up in the air, does that present any challenges just for you guys game planning or prepping with the players for Saturday?
The only difference would be that if you play later, you have time for maybe an extra walkthrough. But aside from that, you know, as long as the game day is the same, really it's let's just say we have faced bigger challenges throughout the course of the season than that. So I think we'll be okay.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
Mario, Camden's 0 for 2 this year on field goals, both makeable distances. What's the confidence level there? What are the conversations with him, and kind of is his confidence wavering at all with those two?
Well, I don't think confidence is wavering. I think you have this. You have a really good football player who's had a couple bad kicks, but when you talk about just the kicking crew overall, the punters, they're great teammates. They work their tails off. They're accountable guys, and then comes the performance part. Right, it has to be better. That's the bottom line. It has to be better. So there aren't any Jedi mind tricks on this side over here. We just approach it that way. We open it up in practice and compete all the way through Friday and see what it looks like, and play the best guy, whoever's playing the best. But I don't see a lack of confidence. I see a lack of details being carried out and executed in technique, and we feel good about it being fixed.
Ryan?
Mario, Chip played a lot of freshmen his first year at UCLA. A number of those guys played here 2 years ago. How have you seen that group evolve, especially Dorian Thompson-Robinson?
Well, they've got great players. I mean, they're in such a hotbed of talent out there in Southern California. They develop players really well. I mean, they have as talented as a roster as you'll see, and they use their personnel really well. They're very technically sound, fundamentally sound. It's obvious they pose a lot of challenges, and they showed it last week. I mean, what they did, and I know the offense gets a lot of attention, as it should. They score a lot of points, do a great job, but I don't know what the statistics are, but I know that their defensive performance had to be the best in the country, holding a team under 180 yards of total offense. And the way that they shut down their opponent was really impressive. And the way that it was done, too, it was done with physicality, it was done with speed, causing turnovers, just playing really good, sound, fundamental football. So those guys are good players, and our guys are very well aware of that. And they know a lot of their players. So we expect their best, and we expect our best as well.
Matt?
How well do you think you guys have been the first 2 weeks of keeping contained, and then how important is that going to be with DTR and just his escapability? And he ran for 100 yards last week.
Yeah, I haven't seen a team contain him in all his film. You'd always take a deep dive into your opponents and you go back and watch how they were when they were young and as they mature. I don't think anyone's contained them, and now he's got a pseudo off season under his belt, right? In a couple of games. So no, discipline and running to the football and eye discipline with a player like that is critical to the success of the defensive performance. So a lot of tape watching, a lot of emphasis on those little details. And I guess I should say there aren't any little details. They are all big, fat details. They're all very important, and they've got to be at the forefront of everything we do as it relates to stopping their offense.
AJ?
Coach, looking at that UCLA defense up front, 92 and number 58 look really tough for them. Their whole defensive line looks tough. What's the challenge facing your offensive line this week?
Well, they do a great job just crowding the football, and they get off on the snap count. They do a great job anticipating your snap count. They lived in the backfield last week, I believe, 3 times. I mean, they beat the puller out of his stance to cause a negative play and get the opponent in 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13 plus. And then they do so much twisting, so much stunning. Their pressure or stunning, I believe, 44% of the time. So, and they pre-snap stem. So the original picture changes before the snap and then changes post-snap as well. So your rules have got to be airtight. You've got to trust your eyes, and you've got to be able to see a little, not see a lot, not see too much, because if you start letting your eyes wander, that's when guys come free. That's when you get your free hitters in the backfield, and that's when negative plays are caused. So a ton of discipline is involved in playing their defense. It's certainly a lot different than what they have been playing the last couple of years, and something that, again, our guys have been studying and working at really hard. And that's why today the credit goes to the scout teams for as hard as they worked at giving us the best look possible on UCLA.
James?
With Justin Flo, Mario, just how has he handled and reacted to obviously suffering an injury that and a surgery that he said he's going to be having?
Yeah, well,
today.
I just want to answer your question now. We're not going to comment on the health status of guys who are either available or not available. And our guys do really well and they're taken care of really well. So that's about as far as details we're going to get into that.
Jerry Thompson.
Coach, how important is it to get Anthony Brown some playing time and when the game is still on the line a little bit, not just mop-up time or an injury to the quarterback? Are there plans, without giving it away, of how to get him some experience? Things are now.
He's a really good football player and he's practicing really well. And we're certainly trying to find ways and opportunities to get him in the game.
Eric.
I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities in terms of punt returns. Travis has been back there, I think, every time. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Is that his job, or is that still kind of an open competition?
You know, he is the first team guy for a couple of reasons, and they're all positive reasons. He's a good decision maker. He secures the ball really well. He's made people miss in practice. We go thud, and we've gone a couple reps live throughout camp and whatnot. But him, obviously, Mike has been an excellent punt returner as well, and so has Chris Hudson. There's a couple other guys that have gotten back there and done a good job also, but for sure, Travis Dye is the guy right now, and he's shown his ability and a lot of other things he's done for us. Hopefully, he'll have the opportunity to do that, in his punt return game as well.
Time for two more. James.
All right, the Pac-12 AD has apparently approved the possibility of non-conference play just for additional flexibility if things arise. People have obviously, fans have mainly clamored for the idea of somebody playing at BYU or Cincinnati or something. None of these things are possibilities that you were exploring even before today. But if something were to happen at some future point and a non-conference game was available, would you be open to playing a non-conference game if that was a possibility at some point?
Well, absolutely. I think everyone has to keep an open mind. We have a truncated season as it is. If the opportunity presents itself to play football in a safe manner, right? Protocols have to match up conference versus an out-of-conference opponent. I think the players deserve that. They've worked extremely hard, and knock on wood, we haven't had an issue where we've had any games or reason to have to postpone or cancel any games. We'd love to be able to stay the course and be able to play every single weekend. And yeah, we'd definitely be open to those opportunities.
Last question, AJ.
Coach, I know you do a lot of intermixing of your guards and tackles in practices, and then also we've been seeing it in the games this year. What's the advantage of doing that mixing up of those guys in the games?
That's a good question. I think the first thing is because they've earned that time, and the time that they have earned is rewarded with actual playing time, right? That generates a lot of, it galvanizes that offensive line even more. It also validates everything that we do in terms of work, earn, compete, and, things work out. So that's one. Number two, I know that some of their specs are different in terms of style of play and technique, very similar across the board. So I don't know if there's like a changeup of any sort in terms of what an opponent is seeing, what we do up front. But I just think it goes down to, you just have the guys that earn playing time. You have to play. And it's important for the players to know that game day is not tryout day. It's not experiment day. It's not, let's see if you can do it. No. It's a day where the guys that have really busted their tails and have shown and proved in practice consistently, repetitively, that they could perform and execute our systems at the highest level, they're the ones that are going to play. So I know I got off on a tangent there, but that's kind of leads to the decisions for playing those guys.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time.
Okay. Thank you, guys. You guys have a blessed day.
You too. Have a good day, Coach.